Dale and I are really excited to be here and talk to you today. As Jen said, we're in the production group at Meta, so not necessarily on the Horizon team, but we work a ton with those folks. So I will cue us up. All right. We're matching our avatars today, I just realized.
All black all the time.
We're usually back of house, so this is a new experience for us. All right, so I'm Libby. I'm an XR producer at Meta with over a decade of experience in immersive media production. I oversee a talented team of producers, of capture folks, of editors who create trailers and marketing materials for Horizon Worlds, and we also work with third-party VR gaming studios.
Thanks, Libby. I'm Dale, so I work alongside Libby. I look after more of sort of the engineering and infrastructure side of our team. I've been here about 12 years, so I'm like a dinosaur in meta years now. Quite a long time. Started as an AV tech and then found my love of XR later, actually at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. Has anyone played, is it Bullet Train? Old Rift game where you catch the bullets, and that was it. I was like, career change. And then I now work in XR. Back to you, Libby.
Great. So today we're going to walk you through the end-to-end process of producing a trailer, high-level general comments, and then Dale's going to take you into some best practices for world settings, mobile and POV capture, and then performing as avatars. So Dale, you reminded me of my first VR experience. Has anyone played Until Dawn: Rush of Blood? Yeah. So basically, you're seated in a wooden cart, and you're on a roller coaster going through a dark tunnel, and there's crazy carnival clowns popping out at you, and bloody pig carcasses, which was a really interesting, yes, really fun, very interesting experience for someone like me who is a vegetarian that faints at the sight of blood.
Whoever did that did not give you a good intro to VR. That's trial by fire.
Check this out, Libby. So I played it for about a minute and then immediately pulled off my headset, sat down and put my head between my knees to keep from fainting. So, 10 years later, here I am. And I was just so wowed and so affected by that experience that I just could not believe what you can experience when putting on a headset or playing a game. And I am here 10 years later creating trailers. And that's what we want viewers to experience when they see your trailers. They want that emotional connection. For me, obviously, it was a gut-wrenching physical connection, but I've never forgotten it. And that's what we want your players to feel when they see your trailers and then ultimately jump into your game.
So, nearly fainting, head in the lap.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So at this end of our session, we're going to open it up for questions. But if any of you want to chat with us about your trailer, share with the group about what you've created, or if you haven't created a trailer, you can ask us some questions about what you're thinking about creating. So trailers, as Jen said, are one of the most effective tools in promoting your game. How do you create a trailer that excites, that informs, and then ultimately converts viewers into players? We want to help your content rise above this very crowded landscape. You have about 3 seconds to grab someone's attention. There is so much content out there. We call it, how do you create thumb-stopping content? We want viewers to pause, watch a trailer, jump into your game, and then we want them to share that trailer with their friends and say, this looks amazing, come join me. So trailers also, we have some data so far about how they are a proven tool to actually boost engagement and growth. We've seen trailers increase viewer to player conversion rates by 10 to 30%, and 30% is huge. We've seen it boost player exposure by 3 to 5 times that over trailers, over games that just have an image for their promotion. I'm going to talk a little bit more later about what we're doing on the meta side to also help boost your exposure. So up here, I have a Kawaii creator Kitty Care Cafe. I saw your trailer and I absolutely loved it. One of the things that she did really well was she trickled in IRL, in real life content, showing 2 children playing her game. And she used voiceover to emotionally connect with the viewer. She said, "I started building games because I couldn't find ones that truly reflected the kind of experiences I wanted for my kids." And that's a very common parent struggle. So I think a lot of parents, having seen that, would be like, this is what I want my kids to play. I'm gonna go get them. We're gonna play it. And so I saw her trailer, and then I went to try to find it on Google, super fast, found it on YouTube, looked at the views, looked at all the comments, and that's what we want for you all as well. So here's a quick overview of the film lifecycle. We have pre-production. It's the crucial planning phase, and this might feel like the most boring part of our talk, but it is so important. Here, we develop the script, we get the team, we identify the talent, and we organize every detail of the shoot. And this is one of the most important steps in the pre-production process. In production, of course, we bring the script to life, and we turn what your vision is into visual storytelling. In post-production, also called editing, this is where the final story takes shape. We refine the footage, you can add music and sound effects, and make sure that your trailer flows seamlessly. And finally, distribution, reaching your audience is key. So here's a quick list of some best practices. So trailer length should be between 3 seconds and 2 minutes max, but the recommended length, and we've seen in some testing, the sweet spot is actually 45 seconds to a minute. But you have that range if you need it. Highlight, of course, your most exciting features, your characters, your scenes, what makes your game unique from what else is out there. Branding and logos, you can start and end your trailer with your logo, but do not use that text throughout the trailer. It can really take away from what other content you want to show. I have Mikey Ace's Star Chasers shown up here because I thought they did such a wonderful job with their logo and use of text. It's very clear at a glance what this game offers, and I love the intensity of the image with the flames. Is Mikey Ace here? Woo, Mikey Ace! You killed it. I love it. This is a beautiful key art. So visual and cinematic quality, maintaining high resolution and avoiding excessive camera shake. I know this can be really tough, especially when you're in POV capture. We use tools like Topaz AI that can stabilize the footage and upscale the resolution. So check out other tools that are out there to really up that resolution. And of course, trailers often perform better with audio, and I'll touch on this a little bit later. All right, every great trailer starts with a plan. Get your team together, ask yourself, what is the core message or feeling that you want to convey? Who's your target audience? Where is this going to be posted? Is it just the HR video tool, which I'll touch about later? Or are you going to post it to YouTube, Reels? And as I said before, what is your call to action? Is this game already available? Do you want to tell them about your release date? Do you want to release your trailer earlier to kind of promote that excitement before the game actually drops? And another thing that we often do in our jobs is find trailers that you loved and you thought spoke to you and gave you that connection, that feeling of, I want to jump into this game, and jot down why. And then, of course, if there's content out there that you found to be not very enticing, boring, maybe a little bit confusing, use those examples too and say, this is what we don't want to do. All right, next step. Creating a storyboard. So this seems like a minor step, but this is essential to the production process and making sure everyone is aligned on shoot day. So first, you want to understand the purpose of the trailer. Decide on the tone. Is it suspenseful? Is it emotional? Is it humorous? Do you want to make them laugh? In my case, do you want to make them faint? Outline the structure. Start with a hook. Like I said, you have 3 seconds. You need to build interest and tension with key moments and key shots, and then, of course, end with a strong call to action or a very memorable closing shot. Break down the trailer into scenes or shots. Each frame in the storyboard should be a single scene, and you should have a very quick, easy to understand image of what you want to shoot, and then the shot, is it going to be medium? Is it going to be wide for context? Do you want a close-up for that emotional connection? And then you can also touch on how long you want the shot to be. Do you want to do 3 different shots with different angles, and then pick one in editing? Of course, like I just touched on, you want to visualize key moments. Do you want to do like I said, close-ups for emotional connection, and talk about the different type of shots that you want that will really add to the tone that you're getting after. In the storyboard, you should be noting audio and text cues for your editors, and then, of course, keep it concise and clear. This is an example that we've used. We have another reference image shown on here that obviously is not for the Kaiju trailer, but it really helps everyone on set to understand this is what we're going after. And of course, iterate and get feedback. Share it with everybody. Does this feel good to you? Does this feel right to you before you get on set? Because if you wait until you're on set to talk through those things, it's just going to cause a lot of delays, probably a need for a reshoot, and it's going to cause even more delays for your editor because you're going to be giving them probably 3 times the amount of footage than they actually need. Before we dive into the main event and getting to Dale, the capture itself, I want to emphasize the critical importance of preparation. This may seem like a minor step. In illustrating this, I have shown a very boring image of a Quest headset because it would shock you how many people show up to our shoots and their headsets are not charged. And then we all have to wait around, eat a snack, take a bathroom break, and we're already an hour past go time. So prepping in advance can help you avoid these pitfalls. Another thing we talk about a lot is aligning on communication on set. Obviously, some of you are going to be jumping in headset, but are other people going to be viewing, or that are other people going to be part of this shoot? Do you want to set up a Zoom call? Keeping those comm channels very clear and in advance, setting them up in advance is critical. Tech checks, of course, I mean, you all know your worlds, but are you going to have other people jumping in? And then confirm your talent knows their roles and responsibilities. You all, like I said, want to be aligned before you start shooting. Editing. One of the most important steps, packaging your final product. An amazing editor can take really bad footage and make a really amazing trailer. An editor who's not that great can take amazing footage and you will not love the final product. So editing is very important, okay? Another boring but important thing, organize your files. Your editors will love you for it. Dale will touch on this as well. Of course, pacing is important. You want to be balancing action and information throughout your trailer. Use transitions wisely to keep things flowing. Use text callouts sparingly. As I said, do not have your logo throughout the trailer. Use it only when you need to. And of course, do not be afraid to iterate. Test different clips to see what feels right. Music. Music sets the tone. Pick a track that matches your game's mood. Is it tense? Is it adventurous? Is it whimsical? Make sure you have the rights to use it. We probably all know Tom Petty's Love is a Long Road after the GTA 6 trailer dropped. You guys know that? I mean, it's playing in my head right now. There is just so much power in picking the right track. Of course, layer in sound effects for extra impact. Balance all the audio levels. You do not want sound effects and music overpowering each other. Otherwise, it's just a chaotic audio experience. All right, video upload tool. I'm stoked about this. It is available to all of you now. This tool is on the Meta Horizon World Edit page. I won't go through the step-by-step instructions. It's really clear on the website. But check it out. This is really exciting. And then, of course, once you upload your trailer successfully, it's going to process your video. This can take a while. Just wait it out. And then it goes through a content integrity review process. And the most exciting news, in the future, your trailers will appear on various discovery surfaces across mobile and VR. They're going to be used by Meta in quick promotion spots across our family of apps. This includes Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, and Threads. We are pushing all of you to get more viewers and ultimately more players. Woo! Lastly, I'm going to end my part with an examples trailer from City Drift that I really enjoyed. This is from Matthijs Udy from Flipkey Studios. Are you in the house? Matthew? Yeah, Matthew. All right, I'm not going to speak over this, but I just thought this was a really wonderful use of wide and close-up shots, voiceover, sound effects, transitions. Really great work, Matthew.
in the heart of the urban jungle. Only those who can handle the chaos will rise to the top.
Every race has its own rhythm, its own heartbeat.
They say you're the best.
Go, go, go! We race together. Hold on. We conquer together.
I got him on copter cam. He's moving fast on 5th Avenue.
As a family. Every drift, every turn is a dance with danger. But in this dance, hesitation is not an option.
A dance with danger. Ooh, I just love it. All right, I'm gonna kick it to Dale.
Thanks, Libby. Awesome job. So I'll get a little technical, but I'll try not to go too deep. Also, I recognize you in the Soapstone t-shirt. I think we've worked together before, so we've worked with your team. So great to see you here. There's a couple other people I think I recognize too. So I'll talk a little bit about what high quality is. I have some notes, but I'm going to be completely off script because I don't like reading. So generally high quality, it's not just about the fidelity, but that's obviously really important. Whether it's HD or 4K, you want to think about the format. Are people watching it on mobile, hence portrait, or landscape? Think about all that in advance, because it'll make a difference to how you actually frame up your shots. Check your footage is free of any frame rate stutters, so check the FPS. If it's stuttering, you might get the avatars move like this. It'll be a little bit robotic. You want these kind of smooth movements. And be really purposeful in those cameras as well. Think about, as Libby said, how you're going to frame those shots and how that fits the theme of what you're doing. And mix up the style. So even if you're a mobile creator, you can get some amazing shots out of VR. So you go in POV and dive into the menu. There's experimental settings in there. You can change the bit rates, the compression, the stabilization, which is really, really helpful. Mix that also with in real life footage, so real from cameras. You get that kind of wow factor, so people smiling, laughing, playing with their friends. And I think it's really important as well with some of the new games I'm seeing, and I forget the name. I feel bad because you had all the names, and I'm not good at calling people out, so I'm sorry. But someone did an awesome one that I played the other day that was a platform game. So it was sideways the whole time, and that becomes quite hard when you're framing a shot. So think about how you mix in these other elements, whether it's IRL stuff or some GFX, because if you only have that one shot, you want to keep people really entertained. I actually watched one which I shared with Libby. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I was doing some research, and I was like, well, what would I do if I had a platform game? And I was like, well, I don't know. What would Nintendo do? Can I call out other brands? Maybe not. But anyway, I looked at one. It was a Yoshi or a Mario game from the 90s. It was a 30-second trailer with about 8 seconds of game footage, and the rest was a guy just eating till he exploded. But if it sticks with you, it did his job, right? So, and I think that's what you can figure out from these. Is it sticking with you? Is it getting across the message? That one maybe didn't get across the message, but it stuck with me. I don't have the clicker. Thank you. This one's exciting. So this big red grid up here, this is the rule of thirds. It's a fairly basic technique within composition and photography. I put a lot of notes in here, but I'm not going to read any of it. So this top line that goes horizontally across, that's kind of the eye line. So when you're framing up a shot, you want your eyes roughly on that, a little bit of headroom. And then you can think about your positive and negative space. It's a little bit hard because the screen's quite high, but if I'm facing in this direction, I'm leaving a lot of positive space in the shot. This is space for my character to look out into the distance. If I'm over here, it's a kind of weird, empty, wasted space. Unless there's something, say, horror's quite a good example. Unless someone's creeping up behind me and you've got a very particular narrative to show, it's wasted. That forward space opens up the horizons. So it's worth playing with that. And there's a bunch of different shots. I'm not going to go through them, but Google it. But low shots can be quite useful. So if you've got a camera low and a character up quite high, using that horror example, this makes the character seem big and scary, makes you feel small. Not perfect for everything, but it's going to work in certain things. And then you've got a bunch of other shots, whether it's close-ups, like you mentioned, medium shots, cowboy shots. I love a cowboy shot. 2, 3, 4 shots, bird eye view, insert shots. And think about how you would put multiple types of shots into a trailer. So say Super Rumble. I'm there, and Libby's my opponent in Super Rumble. We're getting ready to have a battle. We might have a camera that's got a wide view of the two of us standing in this direction, and then a cowboy shot comes and I'm reaching down to my holster, an insert shot as I pull out my weapon, a close-up of the eyes, so on and so forth. So you can kind of build the narrative and build the excitement with those. The other line, the crazy blue line, is the golden spiral, the golden ratio, Fibonacci sequence, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the swerve up here, the curve, is a character or something in the shot will lean your eyes round to this curve up here. And that is where the focus wants to pull. It's supposed to be one of the most beautiful shots possible. It's kind of made out of mathematics. I don't understand it well enough to go into the full details. I don't do maths, I do production. I come from an AV background. But anyway, the shots you can get out of that are remarkable. And I may touch on it later on, but if you're looking at capturing things and you're capturing in 4K, when you've got the rule of thirds or any sequence or anything like that, 4K is awesome if you're going to output in, say, 1080p, because you've got 4 1080p's, so you can move it around. So even if the shot might not be perfect to start with, your editor, or you, if you're a one-person team, has that space to kind of move things around and frame your shots differently. But with any shot, any rule, it's a starting line. Like, if it looks good, it's good. So if anything I said you're doing and you're like, nah, just do it your way. This will get you started. So in World, there's a few settings you can do to kind of help you with your production as well. So first off, like Libby said, prep. Go in, figure out what camera angles you want to use, figure out what are the things. So in this shot, I want to call out my bucket, and I want to call out my lighthouse. Take notes, put them into your storyboard, figure out the main things that you want to show and how they look. You might want to adapt your world based on this. On the audio settings, so go to global audio, so all of your talent can be heard, and you haven't got one shouting and one whispering based on distance. And then look at the lighting. There's various different types of lights in Horizon. Make the avatars well lit. You don't want big shadows across the faces. You can use 3-point lighting, like in real life, where you would have a light kind of here, and a light behind. Helps add a little bit of depth. Doesn't cause shadows across the nose, the eyebrows, things like that. And rehearse. I know that's not really a setting, but rehearsing helps a lot. Whether you're going in a VR and you're learning about how do your gestures work, which we'll talk about more, or just playing your game, right? So whoever's capturing, if they're not good at your game, the game's not going to look good. If they're awesome at your game, then it's going to look great. I'm not going to read through this. This is a good one to kind of take a picture of, but this is the settings on how to capture on your mobile. There's a couple of ways of capturing. So we now have a tool where you can capture directly in Horizon. Basically, what this will do is two main things. One, it records without the UI. So any of these orange buttons, any of the menus, they're gone. You have a full screen output, which is 1080p at 30 frames per second. The other thing it does is it records into the cloud, into the Horizon cloud. So you are not losing any frames per second, any juttering from your local ISP. And you can just download it instantly on mobile when you're done. And these files can be recorded up to a minute long each, and then obviously you can record as many times as you like. The other way to do it would be natively on your phone. So I have an iPhone, so I can swipe down, I can hit the record button there. That works quite well. This is a really exciting plain slide, isn't it? But you can see here, you can go and turn off the do not disable, do not disturb, and disable pop-ups. You don't really want your friends texting you about who's going for beers down the pub in the middle of a capture and that being caught up in your footage. Not that my friends do that. So with anything, test in advance, whatever tool you're using, whether it's VR, desktop, mobile, test, see what it looks like. Go in and do a couple of like quick records whilst you're doing your scouting. And then QC. So watch back your footage. Does it look good? Was there bugs in your game? Was there frame drops? And then figure out why that happened. Is your Wi-Fi not strong enough? Are you running maybe too many applications on your computer or your phone at the same time? Try closing some of those down, maximize the compute available. Here's another really exciting one worth a picture. So capturing on your desktop. We do quite a lot of desktop capture, and we have a few other methods. So you can get software like OBS, which is open source, and that's great for both streaming and recording. Or you can use hardware. So we have production rooms all over the world, and we have Arjas, which are hardware recorders. So we record a lot of stuff directly to these in 4K. I did put a note in there about the settings. It's going to be based on whatever works for you. If you're recording some native stuff at 30 frames per second, that might be a good place to be in. 60 is great too. If you're recording in headset, the higher the better. A few tips for recording on desktop up here. So the main one that I want to call out, though, is balance your sound. So within the Horizon menu, you have a few different settings. You have VoIP, so your voice. You have environmental audio, so wind or sound effects. And then if there's a screen in there, any playback on the screen. You can go in and drag and move these to be exactly how you want it for your shoot. For example, you might not want environmental noise on the capture. You might want to add that after. Or you might want to have people running around with their voices heard or not, and then you can tweak that and tweak the levels. A few other tips and tricks. Use a closed instance. Have you ever tried to capture and there's a bunch of public running around? So we've been doing a few other things that connect. One of the things I've been working on, are you all going to Classic Campus later? Tomorrow. So sorry? Cool. So there's a few things. There's an AI mural that Libby's done, which is awesome. So check that out. You can scan it, and it's going to be up on the screens. One of the other things I've worked on is a Horizon experience where you can interact with an avatar through a screen, and you can go up and kind of wave at them. We've tried that in the open setting, and we're leaving it in the open setting. There's some funny people running around worlds. So you can see this avatar full screen, and there's other people just walking up, getting right in the way, trying to shake their hand. Which is good for what we're doing. We want to show it's lively, and we want to show people this is the real world. You might not want that in your trailer. You might want your talent and your guests to be behaved. So do a closed session, invite them. We talked a bunch about it, but integrate a bunch of different types of shots, keep it really exciting. Libby touched on file management. My tip, particularly because I work on a global team, and as you can tell, I'm not from here, is label your files with whatever the project information is, but start with year, month, date. That way we all know how to find those files quite easily, because then we get confused between us Brits and the Americans because the day comes first before the month, honestly. You got it wrong. So it just helps us having that uniform way of doing things. There is no right and wrong, we're just different. When capturing on your desktop, remember the entire screen will be recorded, so move your mouse pointer off, because otherwise that will be in your recording, and that'll be really annoying, because if it's there, you might have to reshoot the whole thing. Obviously, it doesn't do that for the Horizon mobile capture. I'm going to skip over a few things there, but on the day, again, my 3 big tips are here. Have the best Wi-Fi possible. Be as close to the router in your house as you can get. And if you're capturing on your desktop, actually hardwire it. Plug it directly in with an Ethernet cable, even better. But obviously with mobile and VR, that's more challenging. As Libby said, be charged. Not yourself charged, but make sure your device is charged. I mean, you can be charged as well. But charge up your device, your phones, your headsets, and make sure all your software is up to date. It's super annoying if you get in and you realize you've got to update your OS and all your software. And then keep your charger on you just in case. Most of your production can be done with the charger plugged in. So if you're capturing from headset, there's a few things to think about. And even, like I said before, if you're focused more on the mobile side of things, you can get a bunch of extra shots in POV from headset that are quite useful. So understand your framing. And by doing this, you, like I said before, go into your settings, understand which eye you're capturing from, because you're not going to capture stereoscopic. It's going to be left or right eye. So if I'm capturing left eye, I want to frame my shots with that in mind. Otherwise, I'm probably going to miss the subject I'm looking to capture. Like I said, there's also a bunch of other settings in there. Dive in, see what works for you. The stabilization is really, really helpful. And if you're capturing anything with mixed reality through the pass-through cameras, lighting, I would say, is the most important thing. Balanced lighting. If one side of the room, if these blinds were open, it would be very, very bright California light coming in. That might blow out one side of the shot and oversaturate it, leaving the rest looking a little bit dark, or you're going to find that your cameras are constantly trying to compensate for the light as you move around. Also think about the other types of lights in your room. So if you have, say, LED lamps, LED bulbs work by flickering constantly, much like a camera lens. And if the flicker of the lens and the flicker of the light don't match up, then your footage is going to be flickering. Just turn the lamp off if that happens. But this is why we QC, this is why we test. So use locations that provide visual interest. Here's the example of what not to do, if I'm being totally honest. So I generally would say match it to the type of game you've got, and this is whether it's pass-through or it's IRL capture. If it's productivity related, maybe you want a desk, and that's cool. Or maybe you want the garage if it's an exercise thing, or you want the coffee table in your lounge for a board game. What I would suggest is not to have an environment that's going to outdo your game graphics. So this one here, you can see like there's a little bit of gaming, and we have a really bright red sofa. We have a lot of, it's cluttered. So you want an environment that's going to be interesting and themed with your game, but it's not going to detract from the subject. And silly little one, clean the lenses, whether it's your camera on your phone or on your Quest for pass-through. Those smudges will come through. Fix it in post is not your editor's friend. And the last one I'll kind of say is think about your movement. And what I mean by this is with POV, smooth movements are going to be your friend. They're going to be your editor's friend, and they're going to be your viewer's friend. So if I'm in VR and I'm moving around and I'm doing my thing and I'm wobbling around, that's going to be some really, really bouncy footage that's going to probably make you motion sick watching it back. So try nice, stable movements. We've even rigged up things where we put headsets on mannequins. We've got a DJI Ronin gimbal, and we 3D printed something we can stick it on so we can fly it around like that. We've tried a bunch of different techniques to give you stable footage, and as Libby said, we use AI software to stabilize. So a few things for when you are going in as an avatar, particularly in VR. Think about how objects snap to your hand, whether it's a weapon or you're going into the ramen house. I think I keep using that example. I think I've got fancy ramen right now. But you pick up the chopsticks or the gun and it's sticking through the back of your hand. That's not very natural. It's not going to look very good. Make sure you're picking up your props so they look natural. And then POV positioning, I'd really say it's like be natural, but be more than natural, which goes against what I just said. But it's like be yourself plus 15%. So this kind of movement that I'm doing now, to me, feels like I'm moving up, maybe less to you all because I'm on stage and I'm a behind-the-house kind of guy. But in VR, you want to bring it up a 15%. So I would probably want to give it a little bit extra to show the motion of my avatar, to show my facial movements, and all of that kind of stuff. And then snap turning as well. So when your headset, if you click to the side, you're going to snap very, very quickly. That doesn't look very natural. Stand up, move around as you would naturally move around as an avatar. It's a little bit hard for me to demonstrate. I'm going to put the clicker in my pocket for a sec. But be really wary of your arms and your elbows. You don't want your elbows sinking into your body. You don't want to kind of be holding your your touch controllers weird. We call it raptor hands because you get someone in and they look like a raptor. We generally say go practice in the mirror. The Horizon Immersive Home has a mirror. Practice in it, see what you look like. So be natural, but be bold. And trigger emojis too. Some of those are pretty cool. Obviously, you've got the thumbs up, thumbs down, and all that stuff. My personal favorite is one thumb up, one thumb down, and then like the squiggly face. It's because I'm weird. It's true. And think about your spatial proximity. So how close you are to other people will tell the story of the relationship. So we might want to stand quite close if you're with your friends in McDonald's or the British pub and you're having fun. You want to stand with them. You want to show that they're close in the shot. Or maybe like the Super Rumble thing, we're far away because we're ready for a battle. And imagine the physics. So if I'm in a world and I'm picking up a feather. I'm going to pick it up. It's going to be super light, no problem. But then I'm going to pick up a boulder. I'm going to want to go in and act like it's heavy. It's going to show that the avatar's really working for it. And maybe I'll put in a swole avatar to help me because they're new and they're pretty funny. So that's pretty much it for me. I hope it helps get you started on your journey. I think there's just a lot of ways to get creative and to tell your story. But to be honest, you've done the hard bit. You've made the game. Now it's just capturing it and it's showing it to your audience. So you can kind of take it from like, what's this random thumbnail to, that's awesome, I want to go play that. So that's people's first impression, and it's your chance to make that unique. So the trailer's going to open the door, and then the game will bring them in to stay. Any questions?
Any questions? Great. Okay, and as we said, any questions, or if anyone wants to talk about a trailer that they've made or might want to create, we would love to hear that too.
Hello, I'm Joseph Brancic, JB. Question on the recording systems that you've created. Are we able to remove the avatar names?
To remove the avatar what, sorry?
Names, the names above the head.
The name tags. Not currently. So right now, the public tools don't have that available, unfortunately. We can take a note of that because we've talked about that, haven't we?
Yeah, and there's some tools that we have internally that we are pushing to get for all of you, which we can't speak about today, but that is definitely on our mind, and that is a particular one that we know is really, really important.
Thank you for that one, though, because that is one of the big things that we talk about a lot.
Hi, I'm Carlos from Others Lab. Hi. Do you have any plan on provide us some sort of tool to help us recording footage, like a camera guy role that help us to interpolate field of view or move across a spline or something like that?
So we sit on a team that's adjacent to Horizon. So we're on a production team, and we help support the needs of the company. We have certain internal tools that we use, but we're not necessarily the decision makers on what tools are released. But trust us when we say we have this conversation frequently, and we really want to get the tools that we have internally to you all.
And I think this is a good point, and I'm already hearing multiple questions about this, is I would love to take this as a follow-up for those in the program that we can, even in one of the next creator letters or sooner than that, let's get your top requests together for what would be most impactful for you to make better trailers, and we can take that back internally as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, ask for it a lot. We want it.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi.
Hi, ProtoXR. One of the issues I run into when I'm trying to capture specifically on a mobile or web is that 100-second timeout. When you start using that built-in capture feature, does that then allow me to go beyond that 100 seconds, or do I have to keep on breaking things up?
The current tool, is it 100 or I thought it was 60? I said it was 60 in my presentation, but you could be right. I could be wrong. I definitely winged it today. That is the current status of the tool, though. It records only for a certain amount of time, and then you need to reshoot. I will say, though, most shots you can get, unless you're doing a podcast or long-form content, you can get a lot of shots within 10, 15, 30 seconds, and then cut to the next. But I know it's not ideal, and we'll take note of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you having us.
Yeah, thank you. You were kind.